Today I'm going to talk about two shoes that in hand and on paper seem just about identical. The Novablast and the Ride 13. .09 miles, 8 minutes, 42 seconds per mile on a nice and easy run in the Saucony Ride 13. So I can compare it against the Asics Novablast, another shoe that I recently took for an easy run. Now, before I get into my thoughts on these two shoes, I do want to disclose that both of these shoes were sent to me for the purpose of review by Roadrunner Sports. However, they're not paying me to make this video or to use either of these shoes, and no one's going to get a chance to preview any of my thoughts or footage before you guys get a chance to see this video on YouTube. Now, with the disclosures out of the way, let's talk about the Ride 13 versus the Asics Novablast. This is going to be probably one of the closest versus videos that I've made so far this year, and I've been making a bunch of these versus videos because I've just really been having fun kind of taking two shoes that sometimes they might be different, sometimes they might be really similar, to see how they stack up. And this one is where they're both very similar. One of these shoes is 9.7 ounces. The other shoe is 9.2 ounces. They each have the exact same amount of stack height in the heel at 32 millimeters. One of them has a 10 millimeter drop and one has an 8 millimeter drop, meaning they're only different by about 2 millimeters in the forefoot. One has 24 millimeters, which is a bunch of stack height in the forefoot, the other with 22. And they each have a brand new foam from their respective companies this year. We've got Power Run in the Saucony Ride 13, and we've got FF Blast in the Asics Novablast. But what is it like to run in each of these shoes? Now, each of these shoes I would consider to be squarely in the daily trainer category. That's what you're going to be using it for the bulk of the miles, where you're running mostly easy miles, and that's where these two shoes excel. However, the biggest difference is in the performance of the midsole. Not in terms of the ultimate end result, they're both really fantastic daily trainers, but it's in terms of how they get to being really great daily trainers that's very different. In the Asics Novablast, you've got a very squishy midsole foam. It seems very futuristic, very modern. It seems like there's a lot of technology that went into making a foam like this because it's so soft without having that speed penalty that really soft shoes can sometimes tend to have. It's absolutely an amazing shoe. It actually started out for me being a shoe that was borderline too squishy. I was worried that it would really mess with my knees because it wasn't stable enough, but over time it mellowed out, and the amount of squishiness that it has now is really pleasant, gives you ample cushioning as you're logging in those miles. So those runs where you want to just get those miles in, build that aerobic base, this is a really great shoe to look for. The Power Run is a little bit stiffer of a material, but by no means is it a hard surface to run on. There's like an initial softness to it, but then there's ultimately a rebound that's in there. And the way that the timing of that softness and the rebound work makes for a very smooth ride. That's a word that they use frequently to describe the shoe, and I couldn't agree more. Now, in terms of comfort, because they're daily trainers with a little bit of an emphasis on extra comfort for each of them, they're approaching their levels of comfort in a different way. Part of it with the Asics Novablast is the comfort is in the midsole material itself. It's kind of like running in a recovery sandal. It's that soft, but also there's a lot of just room in the upper of the shoe. For me, it ends up being almost too much room. It's as if it's like a quarter size too big all around, but it also lends itself to being very comfortable for a very long run as well. There's plenty of room in the toe box. Everything up here, nice and roomy. Nothing's pinching, nothing's squeezing down your foot. Your foot just everywhere seems to have a lot of room. Again, for some people, it's going to be a little bit too much room, but because it's a daily trainer and a little bit more of a relaxed daily trainer, in my opinion, I think that's okay. So lots of roominess. That's really the way that I think about the comfort in the Novablast. The comfort in the Ride 13 comes from it being extra plush. Everything about this upper is soft. The tongue is super padded. The heel cup area, everything that touches your foot, super padded with this like memory foam like material. Even the mesh that's up here, very stretchy, comfortable on the foot. There's one little point here where like the structure in the toe cap, I feel like could be a little bit softer on the ends of my toes. But other than that, everything's super plush. Even the laces are nice and puffy. So that's the way that this shoe approaches comfort. The third way that I think these shoes differ is that I think that the Asics Novablast is versatile. I mentioned that I'm okay with it being a little bit loosey-goosey in the upper because I like it for relaxed days, but I know that there's a lot of you that are out there that are taking this on your faster days as well. So the shoe has range. It can be used for your really long runs. It can be used to pick up the pace. I've done it myself as well. It probably wouldn't be the first shoe that I would choose for a hard workout day, but if you're looking for just one shoe that can kind of do it all, the Asics Novablast is one of those shoes that has that kind of versatility. The Ride 13 I wouldn't say is as versatile of a shoe. I tried picking up the pace in this. It doesn't really like it. This is a kind of shoe that's just kind of like a highway grand tourer. It just wants to get out there, pick a speed, set the cruise control, and just go forever. And that's what the strength of this shoe really is that it just lets you keep going because it's plush, because it's smooth. It just lets you run forever. I love that about the shoe, but it's not that versatile. On the other hand, because it's built for those longer runs, those high mileage weeks, for that smooth running experience, what you're gonna get from something like this is a lot of mileage that you're gonna get out of this, at least the outsole pattern. And this power run, I've run in it in other shoes before where I feel like the midsole material is gonna also stand up to repeat usage as well in the kind of use case that this shoe provides to you, in that you're gonna use it regularly multiple times a week. So definitely the durability I would give to the Ride 13. So in terms of which one do I think is a better shoe, it's really close for me on this one, but I do think that the Asics Novablast gets the edge, and that's mainly because of that versatility. The extra roominess up top I think is a little bit of a problem for me. I think for most people it isn't going to be a problem. That's why I think the Novablast is the better shoe. Those are my thoughts on the Novablast versus the Ride 13. I'm sure that you guys have a ton of different opinions and are going to disagree. I'd love to hear about it more in the comments down below. Let's keep the conversation going down there. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of the video. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on your runs, and I will see you in the next one.
Yo, what's going on?